keep this, as I said, very brief. He's a poet, translator, artist, and performer. He's from Italy and Switzerland. We are honored to have her as our opening reader for this year's 100,000 Poets for Change. Please, Lucella, over to you. Please share your poem.
Thank you. It's a big responsibility to be the first to read. I'm going to read a poem that is very dear to me. It's very personal, and it's taken from a book, from manuscript, spelling book. I will read in Italian because I see that you are sharing the English translation. Mia madre. Mia madre è seduta accanto a me dal dottore. Mia madre c'è e non c'è per davvero. Le mancano pezzi. Un giorno ha perso i denti, poi l'udito, ha perso un seno, un polmone, i capelli. Mia madre ha perso i treni, i bottoni e sua madre. E l'infanzia. Un giorno mia madre ha perso un figlio. Altri li ha lasciati andare. Mia madre ha in tasca il suo nome, che un tempo contava vessilli. Ha un paese, mia madre, e una casa che trabocca farfalle. Mia madre ha 3 uccelli che tiene legati alla vita con cordoni di vario colore. Se il vento si alza, le sbattono addosso in azzardo di volo. Mia madre ha barrette di strass e volute di fumo tra i capelli d'amianto. Mia madre ha una piega sul viso e un lucchetto. Mia madre ha un dolore e un rosario, un ramo piantato sul collo e un loculo vuoto tra suo padre e sua madre, ora ripieno di cenere. Mia madre ha 3 figlie e versi più belli dei miei. Mia madre è allo specchio e mi guarda negli occhi. Thank you, Agnes College, faculty, technical staff, and Wakas, dear friend and poet I admire. Thank you.
All right. Our next poet is from Italy again, and her name is Mara Venuto. We are very grateful that she has made time for us to come and share her work with us. She is also a poet and playwright. Among her awarded works and literary prizes, the monologues Read My Thoughts and The Monster, the poetry collections Waterproof, That Dust is Scattered by the World, The Language of the City, Sinkhole. You're welcome, Mara Venuta. Please, take your stage here and share your poems. Thank you.
Thank you for this invitation. I'm very, very glad to be here with you. I will read some poems of mine. My poems are short and usually untitled. I will read them without interruption. The first 5 poems are translated by Lucilla Trapazzo, who just preceded me. La pelle è il ritratto delle stagioni. L'estate ci dimentica, soffoca le telline, sotto piedi avidi, a ripa di mare. Fa male essere bambini, usare maschere, vedere l'abisso e poi emergere come esseri umani. Il tempo porta l'eco delle risa a riva, comanda alle mani invecchiate dall'acqua di sciogliere col sale le nostre squame. Non esiste più il luogo e non esistiamo noi nel luogo. Avevamo risposte a domande pesanti e le abbiamo fatte morire dentro a nessuna espressione. Il luogo eravamo noi e poi l'abbandono, rifiutare una terra e averla tra i denti come fibre indigerite mentre si cerca un posto. Sono ospite della mia carne di carta e di mura scritte con inchiostro depigmentato.
Can you remove this? Just have her view.
Resta vuoto il corpo in
Yeah, don't share
affitto,
the translations, just the screen.
una casa incomodato d'uso, traversata da memorie che fanno piovere dentro. C'è un vecchio deposito di anime usate proprio dietro la mia schiena, rotta in schegge di sostanza centrifuga. Sarei intera, somigliassi a un bue sordo, legato a un nulla che sembra gran cosa. Non sono. E cerco ancora i miei 1000 pezzi. Il rifugio è la colpa, e la colpa un sonoro ripetersi nel cumulo, placido cadere uno sull'altro, sentire l'odore, nulla di vivo. L'opera d'arte nei pezzi, metallo piegato nel regno franto, un disegno interpretabile solo dall'alto. Non tradire per dolore, non poter amare altro, non riparare la testa nel viaggio. The next is translated by Anatoly Kudryavinsky. Non cambia niente, dice un uomo che mi passa accanto. Eppure cambia l'ora in staffette di secondi in fila. Cambia la stagione senza avvisare e il colore dell'aria che respiro. E anche il tempo cambia, si contrae, un singhiozzo nel petto annega in un sorso d'acqua e si spegne con uno spavento bambino nato dalla mia paura di restare impassibile, inanimata carta fotografica, mentre tutto passa. The Last Ones, translated by Sarah Rowe. Aria di estate anemica, trascinata sulla riva del porto, per capelli, lingue di luna. I reflussi del mio stomaco salano le correnti, lacrime di limone. L'arena che tocco è una mistura di rocce dei miei antenati. Rimane a torturare le mani fra i seni delle dita, impastata alla vita, con acqua che non si beve. È caduta dal legno l'ultima foglia. Ha toccato il suolo un attimo prima di accorgersi della linfa anticorpo inaridita. Si è spezzato un corridoio capillare, lo stesso in cui correvo da piccola, un campo sportivo borghese, dove vincere nemici immaginari, senza uscire di casa. Nei giorni del freddo si incrosta la lingua di cristalli fragili ai bambini che la mostrano al cielo, aquiloni della terra. Le mani si fanno di carta che taglia, ghiaccia la pelle di vetro e si frantuma incustodita come alcova abbandonata da sposi delusi. Nel braciere sedimenta come cenere viva. Inverno è una frontiera che dice aspetta, mentre crepitano parole evocate dal fuoco, un mantice che alita dimenticanza. And the last one, dedicated to Africa. Una mattina in cui non c'era calore che bastasse, non c'era anima che guarisse, con riti da bambini e bocca di latte. Si è staccato ed è affondato un pezzo di pane che sembrava l'Africa. Dalle spalle è caduto un inverno di lontananza e sono fioriti rami scalzi. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Mara, Venuto. Really appreciate your work and your participation. Thank you. I am going to now ask Sukrita Paul Kumar to please come and read a poem, unmute herself and read her poems. She's published several collections of poems, translations and critical books. Her most recent collections of poems are Salt and Pepper, Vanishing Words, and Dreamcatcher. Sukrita Paul Kumar, please.
Thank you. Thank you, workers. Thank you for organizing all this. I can see what tensions you have. And just relax. Poetry is for change for the better, right? So I'll read my first bit, which is like, I call it Nokuchia Tal poemlets. So these are little poemlets and about 4 in number, and then I continue with the longer poem. The most abstract mountain out there amidst the clouds is in fact the most grounded, the most concrete, just like my sorrow that is masked with joyful dancing and laughter amidst people. Next, the fragile leaves of ivy climbing up the height, adorning the banyan tree, wind around its girth. The tree bending, looking below, the face of a baby twitching, floating in the shimmering lake in search of its mother's breast. Next. It is more difficult to land on the full moon, round full moon, on the still lake waters than on the circular, bright moon in the skies. The last one of the poemlets. No one other than I can see the live contours of that warm shadow of a moon. The aura and its luminescent rings beckoning intensely. My mother knew I'd meet her there after her death every full moon. We had a pact never ever to sever the umbilical cord. This is a poem that comes out of my walking every day in the morning, like most of us at this age in particular do. Walking in Jahapana, following the scent of the forest and trailing the whistling wind that blows through crisp, crunchy leaves. I reach paths with no destinations and submit to the continuities of morning rays. I move on, guided by mirages, real and vibrant, not untruths, nor hallucinations. With the crimson sun and the silver moon filling my eyes, I do not see slithering reptiles, nor the scowling devils on the hanging branches above, on the bushes below. My soul lifts me into the abstraction of the skies above the clouds till I cross all borders, life meeting death, and I find myself crouched in my grandmother's lap with my eyes, ears, and mouth stretching wide open as she starts yet again, once upon a time. This is the last bit which I brought out of my series of poems which I call We the Homeless. Sabji, said the boy from Budayu, teach me to write a letter that my old ma can read. She never went to school, Sabji. And remember, I won't learn to write what she cannot read. 2. Dreams are to be dreamt in sleep, to be to die when the eyes open. Deny them, dismiss them, for the green pastures are nowhere. Dreams sink into paper boats when belief sits in them. Each day I must work, I must earn and eat just so that I go home. But that too is a dream, I confess. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Sukrita. Really appreciate your participation. Sukrita, of course, comes to us from India, and very grateful that she is able to participate in this program. I'm now going to request Ilona Yusuf, who's from Pakistan, to share her poems with us. She's presently the editor of the Aleph Review. She has freelanced for features magazines like Nukta, Newsline, and Art Now. She is a very well-known figure in Pakistani English language poetry, published her own books on poetry and literary criticism on poetry as well. Ilona Yusuf, please go ahead.
Hello. So I usually write short poems as well, but this is like a sequence about gardens. So it's called Garden Sequence, and it begins with a dedication. I'm going to read some excerpts from it. So the dedication is from Sadi. If of thy mortal goods thou art bereft, and from thy slender share 2 loaves alone to thee are left, sell one, and with the dole buy hyacinths to feed the soul. And I start with the first poem. Beneath winter soil, hard packed, beneath its webbed and netted map of roots, beneath its purple-greened moss quilt, tucked firm, I plunge fingers into lichened dark, encounter fragments, root, pebble, glass, sharp shard, and deep in the grit, the panicked writhe of a sudden worm. Here, fingers of shadow no longer stretch themselves into the green. The raucous crows are ousted, whisperings on latent air made silent. Here, the thumbs that couldn't grow things have made it fecund, as it lay still, compacting, compressing. Then energy, quickenings, churning soil, stones displacing root, root jostling stone, moving pebble, wood rot. Now the round O of my pleasure, as from rock, soil, there is stem, leaf, flower, that grow as if following my fingers. Hardy as humans, just as delicate, they crave communion, the act of observance, sun, shade, water, aesthetics of shape viewed from every angle, the act of pruning. In the cacophony born on the night wind, its surging and abating breath that mimics the sea, individual sounds appear. Momentary chorus of startled birds, leaves crackling across the road, the clang and crash of a tin roof, as wind rushes around buildings, wrapping around them, moaning and shrieking as harpies crashing in alleyways, crevices, struggling to pull free. So a note on this one, I lived in a place which was a wind tunnel. So when the wind would blow between the mountains towards the area where I lived, it would kind of like go round and round all the buildings, and it would shriek. So it really sounded like witches. Then I have, so all this is really about the garden, but the seasons also. And since I live in an area where there's a monsoon, you have the monsoon coming into it. Cool, moist stillness of fading monsoon, soft throat of night, suffused with the ceaseless 2-note treble of crickets. Shadows cut across aloes and agaves, dividing deepened greens, plains of light and shade, to the spike-leaved bush bearing nondescript green-white flowers, candle-nubbed clusters that bloom to release giddying nocturnal breath, fragrance-infused night air, something pure, transparent, as if fistfuls of stars have come down past the diaphanous veils that frame the entrance to heaven. Dragonfly wing tracing itself gossamer on the terrazzo, luminescent shadow, transparent web, woven with oval looping lines. And this is the last one. There are plenty of poems in between, but I thought, just excerpts. These are some of my favorites. Soon it will be memory, damp stillness of receding monsoon, moss blanket of winter earth, headiness of rose, fruit blossom, bird call, fig. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ilona.